Right, what a game to kick off this weekend here at the Lanxess Arena. I don't even know where to start. I mean, there were so many insane moments, so many really clutch, calculated moments. Katie, kick us off here, because for me, I'm just running through a whole list of reels right now in my head.
I'm very impressed by both teams, I have to say, first of all. Like our expectations was, we knew that Envy was going to go into this T-half doing a lot of buys with Tech-9s, 2 AKs and so on, and they made it work. They really forced the CT economy low. And that's the thing, you leave a very narrow margin for mistakes when you do this kind of terrace half with all these equip rounds. And that gave them these 7 or 8 rounds on the terrace half, which was really needed. Then they come over to the CT, and that looked really shaky in the beginning, but in the end they finally matched up. And what I want to say is, the old Envy, we know them from not having that many set executes. I actually think that Envy had a very good T-half because it was a mixture of both set executes, simple B pushes, etc.
Well, those executes were so strong because NaVi's economy was so weak. They didn't have the counter mollies, the counter flashbangs when the execute did come in. And that's kind of what it came down to is, you know, the force buys kept NaVi's economy low. Conversely, I mean, Envy's CT side started out really shaky those first few rounds. And then once their economy got stabilized itself, that's when they kind of started to lock things down. That's where they went on their strings, caught back up, got ahead even, and just closed the match out.
I think that's exactly it. I think there was just a little bit of shakiness going into that second half there from Envy, and that could be attributed to the fact that they are still, you know, a new lineup. They've only had maybe a month to really start developing the strats and getting used to each other, right? Because you're talking about a new entry fragger, a new man who needs to feel when it's right to take point, when it's right to take that charge, and if his teammates are going to be behind him, etc. Right? There's a whole timing there that needs to happen. So that was probably where it got a little scary for Envy for a moment, where they were starting to hold on. And I know that Happy for sure is just sitting there going, "Oh no, this isn't happening right now." Like. And sure enough, once they managed to just break that momentum, that's when it all went their way. As you pointed out, once you get those Molotovs, the smokes of Molotovs, and the double flash, several rounds, Envy, that's all they were buying. They weren't even buying HEs. Double flash, smoke, Molotov. That's just to waste time in the round. That's just to force Navi to sweat.
It is. And to look at specifically Happy, you mentioned him. What I noticed was the way that Navi was using their HE grenades, the B bump side of Inferno as a terrorist. They pre-naded the sandbags where NBK and Happy has this flash, pop flash setup where Happy pops out, gets one, goes behind, gets a new flash, gets another one, for example. They pre-naded that. In the rounds where the passive smoke was, they know that Happy's always standing in CT with a thrown Molotov ready to deploy that. And they also pre-naded that. So they had some good reads, I would say, on the EnVyUS side. And for a lot of the terrorist half of Navi, I actually felt like they were exploiting the weaknesses of Envy. But they just needed that 1 or 2 more kills to really make it work.
Yeah, the cool thing was, I mean, just Envy, where they're known for so much aggression, and you saw it in that second half. Once they started, you know, getting that momentum, that timing double push into halls. How often do you expect that turning the corner to have 2 guys just staring you down? That's a free kill, and that gives them so much map control. It gives them so like that map gets split in half all of a sudden. They're free to rotate wherever they want, and the terrorists are all of a sudden saying, "We've got one place to go on the map."
That's the key thing, right? They don't win the round from that simple kill. They win from the map control they get, the heavy rotation towards the B bump side. And you're right, that's probably one of the most essential moves that they made on that CT half.
Yeah, well, coming back to the kills, right? The fact that they are constantly forced to give up top banana control, EnVyUS, because they've been red, they don't get flustered. Yeah. But the way to turn that essentially is, yeah, okay, you're playing passive. You just need a godlike player there to kind of, you know, take care of business, right? You know, Happy's not going to be there immediately to support NBK every round. You need to be able to count on NBK to stay alive and to get the headshots. At least trade 1 for 1, make it harder for Navi. And several times there, NBK is just like, you know what? I'll do you better. I'll get you 2, I'll get you 3. I'll stay alive behind Ninja. I mean, this guy, like on the B site, he just did massive work. And then Kenny just going back and forth. Everything really seemed to gel in the second half of that second half, right, for Envy, where they started to get the momentum going their way.
One of the only thing I wanted to point out about Kenny was, on the terrorist half, it seemed like once again, Happy was favoring to that he should play the AWP. We saw rifle rounds for Kenny. He did fairly well with that, but Happy didn't do anything with the AWP. In the hands of Kenny, that could have been different. Yeah. Looking at the CT side, I kind of feel like that maybe played into Kenny's head as well, because he wasn't doing these aggressive peaks. I mean, of course, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But he was playing insanely passive, watching a passive peak, going to the next passive one. Normally you watch him in the apps area, you watch him taking peaks on banana. What's your take on that?
That's my take on that. Is also an adjustment on Kenny's part. He's had so much experience playing versus Guardian and versus NaVi. He knows that NaVi, you know, we have gone on a lot about Flamey, right? But NaVi still do rely heavily on Guardian to get those opening frags. And Guardian is one of the few oppers who will take the T side op on Inferno. It's so hard to do, but Guardian, we saw it there. He still manages to find kills. Kenny is trying to counteract that by just saying, okay, you know what, I'm going to hold this angle. You're going to have to use a nade, or you're going to have to throw a body at me, you know, as a bait to get rid of me off of here.
The way I interpret it is Kenny just getting used to being in this new team where he's got 4 teammates around him who can carry through stretches, who can be really impactful. And at times, if you're trying to be that playmaker, that hero that Kenny has sometimes had to be in Titan, that's going to punish this team by giving them, you know, taking a man out of their arsenal early on in a round. So he just had to play passively, play within himself. Don't try and overextend. Don't try and do too much. And you know, he's got teammates now that he feels he can trust to pick up some slack.
Well, Apex certainly showed up, and that's again, you know, we have to keep coming back to Apex, but so many opening kills. It's the combination between him and NBK. There was actually a round where we were kind of laughing, kind of giggling to ourselves because he's actually adapted to the strategies of the meta as well. He's so familiar with the Tech 9, get an AK on his back, but he knows it's going to be close quarters works when he gets up onto that B site, right? That one-shot headshot Tech 9 range. He can just run and gun. What does he do? Runs up onto that site, gets 2 kills, opens everything up, right? And that's what we were saying Apex needed to do in this map on Inferno starting T side. He delivered. Yeah,
you know, all the players you guys mentioned going in, they deliver. But at the same time, I mean, some of the other players that we didn't have as much of a chance to talk about, you guys brought up some here in the discussion, but of course, in the early part of the whole game, C's also coming up big a couple times.
Oh yeah, he started off so hot.
That start, 10-2, I think. He was like 10-2 within the first couple rounds. Like, insane start for C's.
Yeah, so it seems like everyone's on point, but now things may start to turn around. We are going forward to Mirage. Looks like all 10 players are ready. Ladies and gentlemen, can NaVi tie it up and take us to a Dust 2 best of 3 here in the first quarterfinal? Let's find out on Mirage.
Thank you very much, guys. What a fantastic first map we've had, but now we're moving on to Mirage. We're moving into NaVi territory. This is by far their strongest map.
Lee, you were asking for that Kenny versus Guardian battle, and it was a bit hard to get on the way on Inferno. I think on Mirage there's a bit more of a chance. I reckon there might be.
I can't wait to see how middle control is going to go for both these teams. I mean, this isn't typically a strong map for Mirage, but one thing that we've seen that's a good sign for EnVyUS is the fact of Happy having some fantastic counter flashes and counter Molotovs on that B side Inferno. So when we see those set A executes out of NaVi on the T side, if he gets some great counter flashes or smokes off, he can stall, delay like we saw NaVi really struggling with, and maybe pull off some really good rounds. I mean, the whole double op setup, we've talked about this during the group stage, having 2 operators or a team where one doesn't feel confident, the other one can pick up the mantle is so deadly to go up against, especially a double op setup on a map like this.
Now it's looking like Envy are going to have the CT side start, so we'll see how this pistol round leads into them, because if you get a good economy going on that CT side, you really can put your opposition in trouble. We've seen a lot of 12-3s on this map already throughout this tournament. Let's see how it goes. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Map 2 underway. And already NBK starting out with a kit.
Well, once again, kit and grenade and those USPSs in hand, and we've seen some stunning headshots already, so we're going to see if we can get a bit more of that. It's long range here, so you get a little bit more of a chance than on Inferno to get those headshots off, but you do need them. Once the Glocks get closer, it's going to be dangerous, but once C's gets close, it's going to get scary. He's got the Tech 9 and armor combination, so somebody dropped for him. The raid boss is already down. Kiyoshima picking it up. And Kenny goes down in return, but Happy spots one. Can he get the shot here on Zeus? He's a little bit scared he's going to get stabbed in the back in the meantime, and Zeus is there jumping with the Tech 9. It looks like they're going to head into B. NBK about to get overwhelmed, trying to reload, but they're coming for him. Flamey around the corner, and the aim punch is going to end up shutting down NBK.
It's all too easy, it seems. Flamey lining it up nicely, but Happy and Apex quickly reply. They're getting it down to a 2-on-2. Now, Zeus, the raid boss, as you've called, he's going to be called into action here. Happy still around the side, will get spotted. Zeus gets himself the triple. And the raid boss works once again in the pistol. NaVi, a very important T-side start.
Great spread out as well to gather a lot of information and kind of force them into these one-on-one executes. NaVi not committing into a site as well, not committing to that B rush or maybe that A push in towards CT spawn. A good start for NaVi. They got both pistol rounds on the first map. They got the pistol round here in the first half of Mirage. And now to see if EnVyUS can fight back. They have the scout on Happy, funny enough, not on NBK this time. And Happy's going to be the man over towards that A site, going for those jump scouts.
Well, and you can see the hop up and down. It's a point of contention that many players have raised coming into this one. This such super accurate, but you still have to land those shots. You have to be on target, and Happy is. He manages to get the first tag down, doesn't get the second, but he continues jumping. They know his position. Apex is still holding steady. Apex has yet to show himself. He's tucked away in the corner, but he doesn't manage to land the opener CZ there. And now Na'Vi are in control of site.
MBK in a lot of trouble as well. Ends up being the last man alive on 40 health, and a 1v2 jumping, he's not gonna get it. Very close there. Zeus down to 6 health, but they're gonna make it back. An expensive round for Na'Vi, but hopefully they can pick up this following one without losing too much. And in fact, look at Envy, this is ridiculous. This is a bit of a mind game. Another scout in. Jason, you get your wish, this time on MBK.
I mean, this is the man we saw in Dust 2 do so damn well with it, but forcing up into this round yet again. And he got a lot of damage done to Na'Vi. They forced him onto just a tech knock with Flamey, trying to save it for that op over for a Guardian, but they still have the AKs. They have the Galils, so this is going to be really rough for them, and that very well could have been a round that they won. We can see Na'Vi hyper to the A site, where Apex only man there, and there we go. MBK, Jump Scout Master.
Apex is going to get caught all unawares on his own over an A site. They do manage to just gun him down. Kenny was looking in the mid there, but he does manage to get the one on Guardian. Now they know the site, but he's not waiting for MBK to join him. That was maybe a little bit of a mistake. They did get the tag down. Flamey, of course, gets that headshot, but if Kenny had just waited 5 seconds, he would have joined him and it would have been a 2v2 retake.
Na'Vi have to make some big mistakes to lose this, and I think MBK realizes he's going to pick up a Galil instead. He's got a smoke, but no kit, so putting up a smoke and defusing just takes a bit too long. Checking where he can, but yeah, falling back with the Galil might not be the worst idea, because they committed so much this round. They're not going to be able to buy next round anyway. He gets the 1 kill. Even if he had killed Zeus, they wouldn't have won the round because of it. So 3-0, and Envy in a very strange position now.
But again, those haven't been clean rounds for Envy. They do have 7k on Flamey, so they could donate the op over to Guardian. But we know EnVyUS, they forced that round up. They're not going to have much to spend in this one, so there's no real need to it. And Edward already seen pick up the MP7 to just go with that. But you have to really wonder, there has to be some miscoms within EnVyUS, because that's not the first round we've seen, kennyS go in when he has backup coming. If he just waits a couple seconds later, it could have been a 2-on-2 retake there. On Inferno, it could have been Apex him pushing through a smoke towards B, and they need to really figure that out. But they've gone for a stack towards A.
Yeah, 4 members. Kiyoshima keeping an eye on apartments, but the smokes are going out. It's Kenny and Apex that are actually in close and personal, but Zeus has already managed to find himself one. Happy just trying to lurk around the smoke. Kenny picks himself up a rifle. What can he do with it? Gets in and around there, but immediately he's gone down, and this is simple stuff for Na'Vi as they just execute all of Envy over on A site. MBK, the sole man standing. Na'Vi. Very good start for them, honestly, on the T side. A 4-0 is just exactly what they wanted. You can see MBK just going to try and keep hold of this rifle, pack himself into a corner effectively as Seized and Edward look to close out the angles. 3 alive. Their economy is absolutely booming right now.
I guess saving this rifle will be important at some point here for MBK, considering he invested into another scout. So a bit of a strange situation. And it seems like even a bit of a server hiccup here. So do not fear. We'll obviously be able to get back into the game quickly.
MBK survived is what I can tell you. He managed to hang on throughout that round. Almost got caught out in A site. And now we are straight back into it. 4-0. What a great start for Na'Vi already on the T side. This is Envy's round. This is the one where they have to answer. kennyS with your.
Exactly. kennyS up against Guardian, but Guardian's not going to be going for the challenge in middle. He's going to be going, I believe, over towards B to try to pick someone going for the jump shots like MBK has been doing inside apartments, but kennyS already got a tag.
Good leg there onto Edward. Going to shut him down a bit. Looked like the follow-up shot for the wall almost could have hit him, but I think there was a bit more between the two player. And oh, look at Kenny taking down Zeus. That's a huge kill to start off with. Guardian very close here, and MBK's got to be careful. Guardian is a champion at hitting these shots, but he's not going to get the chance. That's a smart move. Once you get the entry, why risk it any further? Why not just play it safe? And I think that's what Envy are doing.
And I like how we rotate, or EnVyUS rotated kennyS from middle over towards A, just to defend the site, move him around like his typical style was back in the day when he was with Titan, shoot from one spot, move somewhere else. And we've had teams figure out, how he kind of plays that, thinking of Nothing on Cloud9, but it's a good little adaptation. MBK still stay alive with the scout, and it looks like Na'Vi, they want to push towards the site.
It's such a tricky shot for Guardian to hit as well. This little jumping peak that MBK is doing. So hard to find that little head as it pops up. It looks like that's what they're going to try. Seized and Flamey are the ones that challenge, but there's a jumping headshot from MBK. He lines up the second Edward. If he creeps a little closer, but now he's going to realize there's one in van. It sees that manages to take him down, but the Envy are coming around in force.
2v4 right now at about 20 seconds left. Guardian gonna hit the shot, but that leaves him alone. C's going down, and he's gonna make a run for it. He'd have to pick up the bomb, try and plant it with 3 people on the bomb side. That is just not gonna happen. So the best he could do here is make it expensive for Envy if they try and run for it. And even though that looked like it could have been a shot, didn't quite manage to hit him. So I think he's gonna be able to save the AWP here. Should be possible. But a round for Envy, and she was saying, Lee, one that they need to get.
Absolutely, the first on their board. But of course, as I was mentioning, NaVi, they should be all right. Edward is a little low on cash, but everybody else, yeah, guns being passed around, so they should be okay coming into this round. EnVyUS, of course. Let's see where Guardian wants to take that up. Not too successful over on B side, but is it going to be a mid challenge? It may well be.
It's really difficult to, unless you don't have the spawn, but it looks like he has one. He's going to be going.
He's looking for it. Look at this standoff between the two. This is what we wanted. 2 of the best AWPers in the world. And they're gonna both end up being very passive here instead of committing to it. Nobody wants to give up that first death in the round. Smoking it off once again means a lot of mid control here for NaVi, and they can use that in multiple ways.
Oh, Kenny's actually rotating the wrong way. He's going towards A site, and we can see it's a B site stack up here. Flamey sees Zeus, Edward all making their way and ready to go. Happy's gonna have to be crucial here on short. MBK still hopping up and down, waiting, trying to get an angle on anything as NaVi run that clock down ever so close. Still 3 stack on A site from Envy. Kenny is way over at Toll Booth.
And on Inferno, we were talking about how NaVi were a bit too slow. If they commit the same mistakes here on the terrorist side of Mirage, that's going to be very scary indeed. About 35 seconds, still only 2 people in B. So for now, Envy haven't caught on to the fact that this is happening, but now they will. Zeus announcing their presence. Happy's flashed as well. Edward takes him down, and it's a perfect opening. This retake, it's not even worth it. Look at Envy. They're going to give that up, and that's a huge strike back from NaVi.
I think Kenny was just hurt as well as he was trying to run away. I think Zeus might try to go for the challenge, and he can't really afford to lose this op.
Oh, Edward's going to find him. Kenny's going to manage to get a big tag, and Zeus is just on 6th health, but he is in a desperate trouble. Edward on the hunt, trying to chase down Kenny. He's got to spin around and try and get a run shot, but it's not going to happen. And that will be so critical to Envy's defense. Remember, their economy will be shattered here. And Kiyoshima, well, looks like he will hold on to his final M4, but a great round from NaVi. Everybody staying alive, everything working in their favor here. A 5-1 start on the T side is just about everything they could have dreamed of.
And what's so important on this map as CT or T is economy management. Like, you need to have those grenades, those flashes, those smokes, and Molotovs to prevent a team from rushing you or to use it to execute on towards a site. And if EnVyUS can't get something stable going for them, they can't stop a rush towards A unless they get really lucky with some great shots and maybe one flashbang coming around a corner.
Look at where this leaves Envy. 1 M4A, 1... that dreaded scout on MBK. He's going to have to pull some magic, even more than he did earlier. Otherwise, this might not work out. A minute and 30 seconds left in NaVi. They're still playing this very slow style, but it's paid off for them so far. And the change-up from Inferno is that once they actually do hit the enemy team, once they run into Envy somewhere, there is a lot more force behind it. There's a lot more speed.
I really like to change up the fact that they went slow here and waited in middle, because when a team has like 1 M4 against you, they might rush middle with him and some pistols to pick up some guns and get an early advantage, an early man advantage. Instead, they play that one really slow, running down a lot of the clock, and we're seeing EnVyUS try to be forced to do something.
Well, at the moment, Apex, very aggressive stuff up close with that P250, but Guardian, unfortunately for him, is not going to fall for it. And now full mid control. It's going to be MBK that's being pressured. He's all alone with that scout. He's got to try and land one of those jumping shots once again. He may get a second chance, but oh, he does manage to get the tag, but he doesn't get the frag. He gets 2 tags, a 3rd tag as well. These are all really low, and this is totally doable by Apex and Kyo.
I can't believe that he hits every single one, but they might still lose the round. Now, Apex doesn't have any armor, so if he gets tagged even once, that aim punch is going to get rid of him. Means a lot is going to come down to Kiyoshima. Doesn't get tagged up there. He actually hits the shot on Flamey. Look at the combined health that's left on NaVi here. they're getting away with murder right now. It's all on Apex here in a 1v3, and he's got no tools to complete this task with. Just looking for a couple of exits here. He's going to take down Edward. He drops the Guardian. It is a team ace coming out of NaVi, each individual picking up a kill.
I would say that would be a good round for EnVyUS, making it expensive if NaVi didn't have so much money to spend coming into this one. But again, we're seeing NaVi really show why this is such a strong map for them. Guardian's been able to help open up one of these sites. The executes have been slick out of them. And EnVyUS are struggling to get really a solid economy going, but we're seeing a change-up. We're seeing Happy demand to run with the op, and he's actually going to be over towards B. I think he's going to move over towards short and try to peek in towards middle with the help of NaVi, with a nice flashbang coming in maybe from Apex or Keo, but they're trying to change things, but trying to adapt. This is what you need to do when you're already down 5 rounds.
Look how deep and aggressive Apex is in ramp here, and this is going to be a ramp play as well. That smoke is going to counter things. This flash will go across, trying to get into a little unusual angle here, but that spray will give his position away. Just tucks himself in, gets a second flash down, and pushes on through. He's right on top of Guardian. Edward manages to find him, but Guardian finally unleashes that AWP and gets the kill. And now, site control being contested. Happy trying to push on through in towards it. NBK up on stairs. They're going to try and find the angles. It's back and forth play. Happy up close and personal. The AWP is working for him, but Zeus once again reacts for his team and closes out another fantastic round for NaVi. It's now 7-1. This is an incredible T-side start.
You couldn't have asked for anything better, I think, for the side of NaVi. I mean, they went into Inferno, pulling it really close. But this is the map they should win. This is the map that they need to win to take it on to the third. But Dust 2 is going to be even tricky as well.
They should win this map, but not in such a convincing fashion. I think Envy are a little bit shook right now. You can tell they made that gamble of the double force up with the scout, and it didn't pay off, and they've never been able to recover since here. Zeus is at 12-2 right now. He's the captain, he's the tactician, and he's also carrying this team at the moment. A clean entrance into the A-bomb site, no armor, no nothing. NVK continues with this scout. He's very, very adamant that this is going to work at some point.
Well, I mean, he has been landing the shots, but unfortunately for him, by the time he does, the rest of his team have already felt like a pack of cards. And, well, there is yet another signified proof, but when the rest of the team can't afford anything, it's a tricky investment.
I mean, this is the ups and downsides of forced buying, right?
Whoa.
You know, the upside is when you force, you're able to pick up the round or at least get a lot of damage done. The downside is you constantly keep buying, your team can't afford anything. But look, as you just pointed out, Happy and Kenny has the double up setup that we're hoping for. The question comes down to how well are they going to be hitting their shots. Happy already had some great up close and personal shots, but Kenny has been a little bit lackluster on this round so far. And he's even going for the challenge in middle from Connector, where they've been looking every single time for him.
Middle where the challenge is going, and Kenny this time does line up the shot, but he gets caught out. Apex has got himself the opener on Flamey as well, over on ramp. So this is a good start for EnVyUS with his double up setup, and they're going to have to pick up every single round. Running NBK, some delicious headshots, and I think he's trying to prove a point right now with that scout. I will buy it every round, and I will get headshots.
Think about the last major with the Tech9 and Olaf Meister.
Yeah, it's a man on a mission is what we're seeing here. That's going to be a little bit annoying, but at the same time, they are 7 rounds behind. This one might be good, and it's very, very critical that Envy play the round like they just did, where they get pretty much all the opening frags, because if this turns into sort of a retake situation, nobody wants to retake a bomb site with 2 AWPs and a scout.
You know, would you agree in saying this, that this is kind of a desperation move out of EnVyUS? They try to save up for this double up setup, and if it doesn't work, well, you're screwed for, you know, a couple of rounds as well. You're going to be forcing with just pistols and armor. Yeah, you have the round loss bonus, but this is kind of like a, well, this needs to work. We need to stop this route. We need to stop this lead as soon as we can.
Yeah, I would say definitely yes, but when you're this far behind, you have to try something desperate. You know, being desperate is kind of all right when you're this far behind. It's just bad if you don't need to. If they made this play, which they kind of did in the 3rd round, they were making a desperate move in the 3rd round when they bought pistols and scout again. There was no reason to do that. They could have easily waited for the 4th round. So I think this time it's warranted. And it worked.
Let's see if it can work again as Kenny lines himself up the shot in window. Now, Season Edward actually delaying deliberately, maybe expecting some sort of rush up mid now, but it's not going to come. Kenny has actually dived out the window, so he will get challenged out. Caesar's going to go for the slow peek, but Happy already holding that cross angle. Zeus has only got 3 deaths so far in the entire game. He is looking to challenge out Kenny S, and that's not where you keep your death record held. high. Kenny will manage to land the opener. But this is going to be an A play. They want to try the 2 split. They were trying to go for that 3-2 split, but it's still going to get started off. Flamey and Guardian pushing ramp.
Kenny with another shot, but he's going to go down there. Edward picking up the kill. He gets sprayed down in return, and we're back into a 2v3. Plenty of time for the remaining Na'Vi members to get something done, but it doesn't seem like it's possible. Guardian will be the last man left here, and Envy, after a really, really long drought, they've only been able to put themselves in a decent position here where they can actually pick up a couple of rounds. It feels like it's much too late. 8 rounds is quite a lot on the T side of Mirage, so I don't know how they can get fully back into the game. But they're definitely not giving up. That grenade almost catching Guardian. Not quite, though.
And one thing we're seeing as well, most importantly, is the fact that because Guardian took so long for this round, they're able to pick up the double up setup. They already lost 1.
He's going to go for the plant, surely. MBK, you know this? Oh, wow, that was so close. Now he can't do it. Now he can't do it. Apex has come back around. Oh my life, Guardian is so close to landing both of those shots, but they will eventually close out the round and rescue both orbs. But that was a little closer than it should have been.
That could have gone Guardian's way. Like, why were they giving him heads to shoot at? We know how damn good of an opper he is, but getting a little bit lucky, and like you said, Demon, saving the double op, most importantly. Guardian taking a lot of time in that round, allowed them to pick it up, even with Keo going down. And you can see Happy Kenny's back on that. And MBK on a scout yet again. He can afford the M4, but he's sticking with it because this is giving him some solid B control. If Guardian can't hit the shot, like we've seen him try, then he's going to constantly get away with this.
Well, when he's landing shot after shot after shot, you know, when he's jumping up and down, bouncing, it's really the perfect weapon for him in that angle.
And you see the fact that he can hit a shot, put a Molotov down as well. He doesn't have a grenade, but he has that to delay because they can't run through it with no health already being tagged up.
Now, we just got to point out here again for any new viewers, the kind of buy that NaVi are into here, where you see they have the pistols and the armor, is not the same kind of desperation buy that Envy were doing earlier. This is just NaVi evening out the economy on the team. They'll be able to buy next round anyway, so they haven't fully committed to this round. It's just a way of sort of saying, maybe if we get a good entry frag, we can make this work. And as Kenny's moving up the middle, there's pretty much a good chance for that to happen. If he misses a shot here, he could get run over. He's going to end up falling back. A very scary situation, but Happy's there to follow it up. A good teamwork.
Oh, Zeus tried to win the foot race and does manage to get one down, but he knows that Happy is just above him. If they can pressure him, Edward's going to try and run around the corner. Apex will get that kill, but that is Happy going down. So both orbs actually being caught out, but Kiyoshima delivers from Connector, and Apex holds strong. And we do see another round on the board for Envy. They have to continue this momentum, though. They have to continue picking up another 3 rounds to close out and even just get remotely close moving into that T side.
And again, they rescued the double op. Actually, yeah, they do. Kenneth is right in front of them with MBK looking at it, going to shoot it over to his teammates. So they're constantly keeping the double op set up alive, even with the comment that they're building up. If Navi could have punished it and not allowed them to get the guns, it would have changed the way that EnVyUS are playing. But Kenny, yes, and Happy, you pointed it out before, Demon. Fantastic synergy between these 2 players in middle, constantly backing each other up. Kenny pushes up middle, has Happy there to watch him retreat, is able to secure a kill.
And that's something that this new lineup has afforded them, is the ability to do that. Of course, Smith was there before, but Kenny S is seemingly on another level at the moment. Hasn't gone crazy just yet. There's a long way to go in this tournament, but this is going to be a big A hit.
That's funny, Anders. We haven't really seen any set executes towards the A site just yet.
Now, I think they've had mostly what has worked on the A-bomb side has been just pure entry frags. This time, you're right, they're going to go for it. Smokes are in, and a great opening from Guardian to shut down Apex. Kiyoshima rotating into the angle. It's going to be taking down C, so it's a good trade initially here. Now, if they can just wait and pick them off before they get the bomb down, that'll be perfect. Kiyoshima picking up one more kill, makes it a triple, finally shot down by Edward, who's going to be alone in a 1v3, gets another headshot. Still a little bit more to do. He's spraying, coming around. Happy executes him, and that's a nice triple there for Kiyoshima, followed up by a double by Edward. That's going to make it 8-5.
Now, is that an error from Navi not smoking jungle and allowing Kiyo to get that triple, or was that a tactical play, expecting and trying to keep that keep the angle open for Guardian?
I want to say there's a little bit of both, because the way they entered that site after throwing the smokes, it wasn't like, we'll wait for the smokes to bloom, then we go in. It was, we'll throw the smokes and go in when they don't expect us. And I think the man who died first would have had the smoke to cover off jungle, but because he died, obviously he couldn't do that, and they're able to really work with that position out of Keo.
Well, MBK, he's decided to switch it up. He's gone mag 7, so no more jumping scouts. He wants to get a little up close and personal. make it a little angry game. But look at this, Happy holding that angle. It is just pistols, of course, and has managed to get himself a second bite of the cherry. Lines them up, gets another bomb carrier down. Grenade will finish the job on Guardian. Oh, no, actually managed to sidestep it somehow, but Envy going to close this one out. That will take it to 8-6, so this is a good recovery from Envy, and it's all down to that double up they've luckily managed to hold on to for a while, and that will have to be another collected up.
Yeah, and BK is still jumping, so even though he switches the weapon, he's still on that. He's still on that. You know, he's not going to give it up. Just to point out what NaVi were trying to do in this round, it's just, you know, they didn't have a lot, but they tried to give themselves a good chance by throwing smokes from outside of B into middle and window to pretend that they were going to try and take B control, but obviously if Happy was there, it's not going to work, but yeah, it's quite a cool idea.
It's just worrying to me that they still did it after Happy already spotted a man out. Maybe it was kind of like, well, he saw one guy, yeah, so we're kind of like, he's not going to expect there to be more people there. But either way, I mean, we're looking at potential 7-8 scoreline in favor of NaVi. That's still not a great CT side.
It's not, but when you're 7-1 down, it's...
I mean, you'll take it. You'll take it when you can get it.
Any day of the week, yeah. But like you say, Envy have definitely got themselves a tough task ahead of them when they move to this T side because, you know, you'd expect to see a stronger CT side, especially from Envy, but it's not beyond the realms of possibility, and it is certainly not done the deal yet because NaVi, with AKs in hands, could easily make this a 9-6. It's looking like it's going to be another A split play, but Kenny, yes, going aggressive down mid, will find Edward there. So that's going to slow C's down. He was meant to be the wraparound. He was meant to be the man that pushed into connector, but they've not been able to loosen Kenny S and Happy from that mid control.
It's a devastating shot to start the round with, and maybe to end the half with as well. That kind of beginning, you're right. Edward, key in this round, mid control, they've lost it. We'll see if it's going to change. C's trying to feign some B aggression, but they're not biting. You can tell Envy know what's coming here, and it's going to be a double kill. Well, actually, it's just going to be one for Apex, one for MBK. Guardian and Flamey will refrag here, but they've missed it enough. They've got 20 seconds left. They need to get in, get this bomb down, and this Flamey very low on health. And he's the one carrying the bomb. That's not a good sign. Guardian goes down, and it's Kenny who ends up with a double and making it 8-7. What a comeback. That's 6 rounds in a row for Envy to end this half.
I have to point something out here, guys. How many rounds did we see MBK on a real gun? Like an assault rifle, like an M4. I think 1, maybe 2. He finished at 12-8, which is a scout and a Mag 7.
Yeah,
he was an economy guy for his team.
Can we do some sort of disclaimer here and say just don't try this at home? This is not how you're supposed to be playing, but if you're MBK, you're just a little bit above that.
The fact that he can play with a scout or the Mag 7 and just sit there, jump over towards B halls. NaVi were up 8-1. He pretty much stopped them for going towards that B side constant because of that pressure and because of Happy as well. I mean, once we saw the double up come in, it was solid lockdown control. EnVyUS didn't drop a single round once they were able to secure that.
We should also try and point out that this is also a positional thing. There are certain maps where this is viable, and there are a bunch of maps where it's not. On Dust 2 has a similar feature right next to CT spawn. As people come up the catwalk, you can do a similar thing. Maybe not so much with the Scout, but the Mag 7 certainly works. But you got to know where to play it, and MBK, well, he's proven, and you guys were pointing this out last year as well. Very strong with all of that.
Yeah, it's definitely a weapon he can work well with, and as you pointed out, he is a specialist on it. There's a couple of them out there.
Great t-shirts.
Representing everybody in this tournament. Now, obviously, don't forget the 8 teams that are here are all now effectively legends. They are all qualified for the next major, and that's a big boost in itself for everyone attending. Of course, you know, Envy coming into this one with that little roster shuffle. NaVi. It's a big thing for all the teams, all the sponsors that are out there to get to this stage, but more importantly, how good must it feel for these guys to be playing in front of this gigantic crowd? 10,000 of you packed into this arena from what I'm hearing.
If I'm not mistaken, only one team was able to qualify that wasn't a legend last time, and that was Kingwin.
Yeah, Luminosity obviously got themselves back in. Kingwin in for...
has Hellraisers, I guess? Is that true? Were Hellraisers last time?
No, because they failed to qualify. They went through qualification. Damn it! Now I've actually put myself on the spot. This is backfired on me. You're meant to give me an answer.
I'm sorry, I failed you, D-Man. I apologize. Look, we're gonna go into the second half here.
Can't remember. Let's get back to the game. I'm going to confuse myself otherwise. EnVy now on the T side, and they have to have an explosive start here to try and get these rounds that they require, and they're immediately in towards the A side. Flamey, though, manages to find one on towards MVK. Happy does respond as he pushes through on towards that T side, but the bomb plant coming in, and the smokes are in the right place. Edward pushing through the smoke.
And look at this. Oh, he's going to miss the shots. Now it's all on Guardian. He gets a kill, but he's trapped in corner, and it's not going to work out. Kiyoshima picks up a triple kill instead. And what a great start. It looked like one of the EnVy members, his home planet needed him. He was just about to take off there.
The thing is, that strategy, it's so tried and tested, and it works almost, well, not every time, it works so often. The fact that you can smoke off jungle and stairs and move straight in towards CT, you play in the close quarter combat with the Glocks up against the USPs and try to, rush them down before they can do much off that. And then once you take that CT control, you rotate back towards site, and teams on CT side typically won't have nades, at least towards the A site, to stop you. They won't have flashes, they'll have armor, and potentially a kit.
Guardian trying for a couple of blind shots in the middle there with the Deagle, and seized, maybe inspired by NBK and the earlier scout success. Feels like that's a thing. Guardian here going to miss the shots, and Zeus goes down, so not the best start here for NaVi. In fact, they're going to get shot down left and right, and those SMGs are going to net EnVy a lot of money.
Just look at these contradicting styles. You see, when NaVi's on a buy and EnVyUS are on a save, they play slow, they try to pick you off, not lose too many men. That round, they bought up pistol armor. EnVyUS won the first round, they rushed straight into him. They just don't care. They want to pick up these kills, they want to keep this aggression on, and you're just seeing how different these teams can be and how, they can work in different situations.
A full eco. It's very rare you see a total complete eco coming out of NaVi. But they are going to 5-man stack A site, and that's actually where EnVy are creeping towards right now. They're just going to burst on straight through. They're not going to creep, they're going to run. They're going to sprint, they're straight in an A site. This is just a massacre. And that was a very quick round.
So we've just seen EnVy play this style for all of Inferno. So really NaVi should be catching on by now. The once everything is underway, EnVy aren't going to stop. They're going to keep going. It's up to NaVi to find a way to stop this. They know that it's happening, and they have to know.
Saving utility for those counter flashes and smokes can definitely be a good start to this round. And you also have to keep in mind, EnVyUS, that was the first pistol round that they won out of 4 so far. So that's a good start, and they're up 10-8 now currently. They're up against the bot of NaVi, who's still lacking quite a bit of utility in terms of flashes and smokes to stop EnVyUS from going once they start to get the steam rolling.
Zeus is going to be pivotal here. He's got 3 in apartments just around the corner. MBK happy and Kiyoshima all in there. But Zeus is going to start off one, comes around, doesn't manage to get the spray down on the second, but that's going to give the position away, and that's a fast rotate coming out of NaVi.
Flamey spraying close, he's going to get one, but they're shutting it down. EnVy, they're a man up, and they've got plenty of time here. Ends up being a kill for Kenny, and it's all on CZ. Gets shut down by Happy. A triple kill in that round with the AK-47, and you can tell EnVy, they're so fired up here on the terrorist side.
And you got to really wonder, Zeus there, that was such an odd angle to hold. You can understand, kind of an off angle. They were going to push it, not expect you there. He picks up a kill. But to push it off the back of that, instead of just falling back and playing with your team when you have the man advantage is one thing that really sticks out in my mind, because you're going to be up against 2 people. I don't believe he was flashed through into there either. So it was a really rough trade.
He wasn't, but he would know the smokes were going down behind him. So if he falls back, because, again, they're so aggressive, he kind of knows that they're going to be right up the ramp into him. He's going to either be stuck on the balcony or he's going to push. He's not going to get back up from his teammates because they're going to be smoked out.
Perfect start, I think, here for EnVyUS. This is exactly what they hoped for. It's should give them the 5th round, and they're just going to mow down. Edward, the last man with his scout, will manage to get a tag on the back. Doesn't manage to finish the job, though. There's nades all flashing past him. Got to be standing still, Edward. That working out well. This is getting really costly for EnVy here. He can get the next one. Oh, Shroud maybe would have landed here, but Edward wasn't on the case this time. But that's the perfect start. EnVy, 5 rounds, back-to-back on the T side. Exactly what they needed to try and pick up those rounds on T.
Yeah, and if you combine them with the 7 they won at the end of the first half, that means they've taken 11 rounds in a row here, EnVy, to bring it back to 12-8. That's very hard to overcome, isn't it?
I mean, keep in mind how this game really turned for EnVyUS. That double-up pickup out of them. The desperation buys before weren't really accomplishing much, forcing the pistols, forcing the scout as well. And now we're kind of seeing NaVi go for the same kind of route, where they have to be very careful, very wise of their economy. Guardian's able to forward the op into this round. You got to pay attention, into the next ones. It's, one round won't get you back in the game. It's going to take consecutive rounds string together. And the momentum that EnVyUS has, I mean, it's pretty insane. Kenius is starting to look a little bit more confident on the op. Happy he's more than happy to back away from using it and give it over to him. And he was still even having some phenomenal shots, but NaVi, they need to change up the game. They need to catch out EnVyUS because this is going to potentially knock them out of the tournament.
This is the big buy round. This is the one that counts. This is the one that Envy actually managed to pick up last time around. Let's see if NaVi can try and do something similar. Happy, the sole man, to challenge out at the top and mid while everybody else from Envy lines themselves up. It's a 4-man push from A side. MBK is going to be the pivotal man coming around the corner. Guardian lining up the shots on him, but in his face is Apex, and that's going to turn the game on its head.
Oh no, this is not a good start here. NaVi, they need this round, and Edward's going to get a little bit back, but it's nowhere near enough. Sees he can't even make it across the map before his whole team has been decimated. So, yeah, 13-9. Do you guys remember that point in time when NaVi were up 7-1, and now it's 8-13? What has been going on?
NaVi really need to just get something and try and pull out exactly what Envy did. Those rounds back to back, you know, think back to the CT side and Inferno, 9 rounds back to back. It's possible on the CT side of Mirage, absolutely. If you can get yourself set up and put Envy in a dark place, but at the moment, they seemingly looking a little more confident now than they were. There was clear concern on their faces at half-time. They knew that it was a tough ask, but this is just about perfect for them. 6 rounds unanswered by NaVi, and now we're seeing a force coming out of NaVi. This is starting to become desperate times.
I'm just loving the aggression we're seeing at EnVyUS round in and round out on this T side. They're just not letting NaVi get comfortable, not sticking to any strategies that they might have been known for, and not coming to one side over and over and over again. It's just kind of split up, work off your picks, be confident about this. I would like to see NaVi, you know, considering they're forcing, maybe push up middle together to stop them.
Yeah, and this is an adjustment from NaVi. This time they're actually holding 2 people directly on the bomb side, although one of them Flame. Yeah, he's going to stay on the bomb side. So this is them trying to say, right, if you're going to go for the same strat, then we've got the manpower here. A 3rd one nearby. I like this adjustment. We'll see if it's going to work for the Ukrainian team. In the middle, it's going to be a different engagement, but Envy, they're going to win both of them, and Edward with the only reply. So now it's just Flamey. Gets a headshot on Apex and tries to keep going, but NBK will shut him down. They had the idea, NaVi. They just could not get the kills.
Now do they try and keep hold of these weapons? Edward actually finds another. It's down to a 2-on-2. This is such a big pivotal round for NaVi. Edward already going huge. Caesar's going to join him, but Kyo holding the bomb down. Edward's found Kiyoshima. Kyo, my God, Kenny, the last man standing, but he's in a great hold position. They just have to flush him out. They know exactly where he is. Edward, lines up the shots, but doesn't manage to make it. They're going, the defuser's coming in. Caesar's on this plan. Oh, he's managed to get Kenny down. What a big play from Edward throughout that round to make that triple from mid. And it's that the round that NaVi needed to get their economy going.
That round comes down to Flamey as well. Just at the start, sticking inside, like you said, Anders, being prepared for the strat being executed yet again, and he stalls for so much time picking up those 2 kills. A fantastic job by NaVi to get back, especially when the pressure was on.
Yeah, but I'm still very worried. When you're committing 3 people to hold on the A bomb site, more or less, okay, one of them on the stairwell, but it's still close. You should be able to get much more out of it. You should be a man up, and you should be in a very good position. If Edward doesn't do what he did, then they lose the round way earlier. It looks like they're going to change it up on the Envy side as well, taking down Zeus.
Guardian replies though with a quick AWP, and he's got this covered off, and now Edward in a great position. He's just had a fantastic round, but Kenny, yes, managing to land the shot. Now that's going to open things up. Happy also getting the opening on ramp has made EnVyUS turn around. They were starting to push towards B site, but now Guardian still could play a very big part in this one if he can land his shots.
2v3 at the moment, and 2 of them very soft on the Envy side, but plenty of time for the terrorists to get in here somewhere. Let's see if they can get that bomb down. Guardian is about to be sandwiched in. He needs backup from Zeus, otherwise this is not going to be working out well. Happy sneaking up right behind him, and the timing is everything here. He's going to walk out. Guardian missing a shot, and Happy sees the opportunity, and it's going to be it. Kenny following it up with a double, and that is 14-9 here. Envy 2 rounds away from making it to the semi-finals.
It feels like NaVi are playing the A side super old school, where you kind of sit tucked in instead of playing for the retake, where it's so much easier to do. The A side, it's relatively easy to get into, but it's really hard to hold on to from the terrorists. But look at this, 14-9. NaVi have almost nothing to spend their money on. This is getting dangerous for them here, Demon.
Their economy is in tatters. Edward He was such a big man before, but he's going to have to go huge again. They 4-man stacked over on A side, but this time it's EnVy going for mid control. They're going to push on through, straight towards Zeus. They've smoked him off. They could just toe straight into B. It is wide open to them.
Zeus trying to jump up on top of that smoke, see if he can see anyone over it. You can certainly hear them on the other side. That AK-47 blazing away. But this would be a bit of a miracle comeback right now. NaVi, they seem honestly broken. They haven't been able to come up with any answers to all of this EnVy aggression. And EnVy, to their credit, they've been hitting A-bomb sites so much, they switch it up and start taking mid-control. So even if NaVi were coming up with an answer, as we can tell, they try to make the adjustment and put 3 people there. Now the game has changed once again.
You've mentioned them hitting the A site so many times. They hit it every single time now so far. And they've been, well, not stopped very often.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be another A. Flamey up close. If he can get Apex down and maybe pick up that AK, could get himself, but that's going to show his back, and that's going to be a very easy cleanup. Happy just sitting at short. They have every angle covered off here for the rotates. It's easy one, but Apex with the spray down will get another. And Edward, the sole man standing with his bulldozer Mag 7. Ready to take NaVi apart. He manages to start things off, but Kyo was covering. And it is now match point for EnVy to book their place in the semi-finals.
And look what this says about EnVyUS as well here, Demon. I mean, the fact that Mirage is one of their weaker maps, and they're up against NaVi, one of the powerhouses on it, and they're still able to come back from being down 8-1 and potentially take the victory and get themselves in the semifinals.
And they've done the same on themselves. They are now 8-1 up on the T side. It is a magnificent performance from EnVy. They are looking world beaters. The question is, can anybody in this tournament step up and challenge them? NaVi with next to nothing. Desperate to hold on to these sites, but it is looking like a thankless task.
I don't know what could be done at this point. It's going to be nothing short of a miracle. Zeus playing in the corner here, sees set 75. He can't see a thing. Smokes, flashes, Flamey hits a headshot, and Zeus almost with the kill, but it's going to be a double in return. And Guardian goes down, and ladies and gentlemen, EnVy, they are crushing NaVi here on Mirage. A huge comeback. Sees Edward, though. They pick up 2 kills, 3 kills, and it's going to be on it. Kenny all alone, misses the shot. Edward close with the Mag 7, and around the corner he goes. It's Seized to pick up the kill, the triple, and NaVi. Is it going to be overtime? Is that what we're gunning for?
What just happened, Anders? I have no idea how they managed to turn that around. They had literally nothing in their hands. Pistols, that singular opener scout from Flamey, and of course, the Mag 7 from Edward. Wow, what a turnaround.
I mean, Zeus did a great job. Yeah, he didn't get a kill towards balcony, but he softened up one man, which allowed Seized to pick up a triple kill with the 5-7 from CT towards Toll Booth. But now, one round's not going to do it. EnVyUS have so much money to work with that you're not going to break their bank. You have to be able to pick up these rounds when they're fully bought up, and here we go.
Edward manages to pop out, gets one for short, but it will be traded quickly by Kiyoshima. Zeus and Guardian just sitting the other side of the smoke. Now, A has been hit so many times. They have to be prepared for this one. They do have 3 lying in wait. Guardian's going to try and go for the peak, but NaVi will land the shot, settling that debut with a second. And now it's all on Flamey in sight. Seeds is all the way over on B site. This is going to be a very tricky hold. EnVy looking to book that perfect place in the semi-finals. They have looked impeccable so far. Flamey on just 2 health. Kenny and Kyo move in with MBK in defense. This is all over, ladies and gentlemen. EnVy surely now with the plant going down will close it out. And who would it be but Kenny S to take the semi-finals. EnVyUS will take it in 2. And it was really a dominant performance in the end from them to close out that quarterfinals.
You gotta enjoy those shots here of EnVy. I don't know if they seem obviously excited, exhilarated, but also I think maybe a bit surprised that they could really run through NaVi on 2 maps like that. Very impressive, a huge comeback. NaVi got 2 rounds on the CT side on that second half, and that was it.
Most importantly out of that, though, we do see EnVyUS and their true form. I mean, back into Extreme Masters at Gamescom, we all knew that they were coming into that one, taking that seriously, trying to go up against the best, and this just reconfirms the roster swap that they had worked out well for them, and now they're one step away from getting to the finals here at ESL One Cologne 2015.
It sets a great statement to the rest of the teams, obviously, all watching. The first quarterfinal, they get to play first. And look at that, what it means for the semi-finals. Who can beat them? Who can knock them out? TSM and Kinguin are going to be looking on to this match and wondering, can we do it? Will we be joining them?
I feel like the recipe here for Envy, especially playing on the terrorist side, is one that's very readable. Now, you got to give a lot of credit to Happy as an in-game leader. He's very good at switching it up on a moment's notice. But yeah, if I was TSM or Kinguin out there, I'd be taking notes. And I think that there is a lot to take away from these two maps here.
Well, what a fantastic match. Let's hear from the in-game leader of EnVyUS. It is Happy with OJ Borg.
Thank you very much. First off, Happy, congratulations on getting through to the semi-finals. 2 slow starts, though.
Yeah, we knew that NaVi were a great team, but we figured them out pretty early, and we just played our game. We just, yeah, as you said, we were slow, and we just rolled after that.
And what is it like playing in this auditorium? 10,000 people watching you. You've played on big stages before, but nothing like this.
It's crazy, really crazy. At every kill, everyone is sharing. It's really crazy.
And talk me through the team. If you were going to choose one person that was playing for you in that match, who would you say was your MVP?
I guess Apex was MVP on Inferno and Kenny on Mirage.
What is setting those two apart? Because this new lineup is really working for you.
I don't know, we are just a fresh lineup and we do just our game and it's really great.
Well, listen, there's no extra money for overtime. You're straight through to the semi-finals. Ready for it?
Yeah, definitely.
He's ready for it. Put your hands together for the winners. Team EnVyUS and Happy. Fantastic win. And now hand over to Chobra on the expert desk.
Thank you, OJ. I'm sure you gentlemen here at the NVIDIA Expert Desk have a lot to say about that game too. Navi's road ends here, but EnVyUS moves on and really sending home the confirmation that, hey, this new lineup, we meant it. We're here for good. Katie, and walk us through it, because a lot of people were saying, probably going to see that Dust 2. This is going to be a great 3 full maps.
Yeah, especially when we saw the terrorist half beginning for Navi. It was just insanely great to see the approach they were having on different parts of the map. And all of a sudden, everything just fell apart. The economy was building up for Envy. And then you're like, well, now we got the rounds that they needed on the terrorist half. Now they just have to get it home on the CT. But when they enter that mode, EnVyUS, they seem unstoppable.
Yeah, I mean, it was that switch on Mirage to the double op and then NBK with that scout just over and over in the B bomb site. But I mean, Navi just wasn't prepared for the kind of aggression that Envy was going to have on their terrorist side when they took these bomb sites. Apex jumping over Closet just round after round, getting kill or two. Like, it was just beast mode, and there was nothing that Navi could do to answer it.
No, I have to agree, and it's good to see that Kenny is being lauded as the MVP on that second map, because it is great to see a return to form from him. He's struggled terribly since the op nerf, and it really felt like that gutted his personal style, his aggressive style of scoping around corners, taking duels, looking for these fights, and it seems like it's been long enough. Kenny, he's been dormant this long, but he's woken up at the right time at the major.
He was listening to us go back and forth about Guardian and Skadoodle, and he was like, not so soon, boys.
Right?
Not so soon.
Not so fast.
I'm back.
Tournament's not over, boys. You know, World Championship here. Time for me to show what I'm capable of.
But we're talking about Kenny playing insanely well. What's also to talk about is Navi's CT defense. Basically, for EnVyUS to take middle, they had to smoke the window, do one pop flash, and then they had mid for free every single round. The rounds where they didn't go mid, they approached the A bomb side with a heavy execute. As you guys addressed, Apex was just running around, getting the entry kills there. So what Navi then does is they put 3 guys on the A bomb side, 1 B, 1 middle. But even when they have 3 guys on the A bomb sides, you still need to hit your shots. Yeah. And it just seemed that a lot of the Navi players just wasn't completely on point for this map.
Well, even if it wasn't just a dominant take onto a bomb site, the trades out of Envy in that terrorist half of Mirage were insane. They just walked in, and even if a teammate falls, you got another guy to pick it up. And to me, that Mirage map was the most impressive map win we've seen out of this lineup quite yet. I mean, that was stunning that they were able to take Mirage off Navi in that fashion.
You know, one of the most stunning, I'd say, basically most impressive throughout this entire tournament, flat out. I mean, it's not for no reason that we're giving NaVi, the advantage on that map. That is their turf. They dominate on that map. And for Envy to come in there and show what they're capable of that's got to be sending messages to every other team in this tournament.
I was just about to ask, how much fear is Envy now striking to the other teams left?
The thing is like once they got rolling, you're starting to think, wait a second, I've seen this before. What?
Yeah.
Swedes? Fnatic? Right? You're getting this comparison where Fnatic just look unstoppable, like this machine that's just going to completely take over the match. And what do? You take a part out? Oh, well, it doesn't matter. It keeps running. Like, Envy, same thing right there. Once they started to get that momentum, it didn't look like NaVi could do anything to get back in that game. NBK, also a guy that we have to point out as having big rounds to keep Envy in this, opening up maps. So it was either Apex or NBK. One or the other was giving the frag that would allow for the team to just proceed to take the bomb side.
Yeah, and what Envy now has to face is the winner of the next game, which is Kinguin versus Team Solo Mid. EnVyUS took down Team Solo Mid, as you know, Cobra, at the IEM tournament fairly easy.
Dismantled them, really.
Yeah.
But what also has to be said about that matchup was the fans deciding the maps, and that was some favorable matchups for Envy for sure.
Yeah.
It's going to be completely different going into a best of 3 against TSM. They're going to remove different maps, they're going to pick better maps for themselves, and that matchup could be insanely interesting. But the question is, how are TSM going to handle Kinguin?
Yeah, I was about to say, don't jump to conclusions.
Yeah.
The curse, the caster curse,
Exactly.
Oh, TSM in the semifinals. Let's talk about this matchup. And then Kinguin is just like, sit.
Yeah, but Kinguin are dangerous. You never know with these guys. All of a sudden, they are striking as if they were a top 3 team, 16-0 versus Pro and Cash. And the next time, they seem to choke and play very poor tactically wise. It is the big question for the next game.
Well, it's interesting because it's another thing where Kinguin is going up against another team that tactically we say beats them out, and just like they went up against Cloud9. But it's another very, very similar matchup where TSM strategically outplays most teams.
How do you feel we talk about Kinguin as this superstar team, but a lot of other analysts, they address TSM as one of the strongest individual lineups as well. Do you see the firepower on TSM and Kinguin? What's the matchup there?
I think it's utilized in different ways. I think the firepower in Kinguin is meant to be unleashed and let to go wild in its own way. And I think the firepower in TSM is much more organized, much more structured, much more fundamental in terms of how they play together, how they play as a team, and communicate. Because they make really good decisions as individuals within a team framework.
Yeah, well, it sounds like overall also Kinguin kind of if you were to choose a surprise here in the quarterfinals, Kinguin's going to pop up as a name for a lot of people. As you guys were mentioning, that's another great matchup to look forward to. Ladies and gentlemen, we're only done with one quarterfinal, still 3 matches to go. Please let us know, what do you think? Who is going to make it to the semifinals? Hashtag ESL One. Let us know. And if you missed that match, that's probably not a match you wanted to miss, but if you missed it or any of the group stages, catch up on theScore eSports. Download the app on your smartphones from the iOS App Store or Google Play. And also, they actually had an interview with the Kinguin players, and they'll be playing next against TSM. So catch up on that. We'll be back with the second quarterfinal.